So, ladies and gentlemen, northwestern Burkina Faso was actually wrapped today because there was an ambush on the Sourou military compartment. And man, the Burkinabe armed forces showed once again how very, very incredible in terms of their ferocity in fighting, how incredible it is. Because this military operation was one of a kind, because the terrorists actually had a good plan. The terrorists actually came in with the right ISR. They had all the intel they needed to ambush the Burkinabe armed forces, believing that they would overwhelm the military component. These terrorists came in with about 24 motorcycles, and 20 was recovered undestroyed. So 4 of the motorcycles were destroyed beyond repair. Now they came in with heavy equipment, a lot of AK-47. The bullets were innumerable. So they had the belief that it was going to be an easy work for them, that they were going to be able to run the camp, to overrun the camp, because based on the satellite image that was given to the JNIM, you could actually see that it wasn't really a big military outpost. It wasn't really big. So based on calculation and, the people that actually give them the logistics and the directive on how the operation should be performed, I believe that they actually thought that, man, this was going to be a quick job. So the JNIM actually approached, mounting 2 on each bike, and they started shooting from 300 meters away. That was how far it was. So I know a lot of you must have seen the videos we've posted on this platform. The distance at which the JNIM starts shooting when they launch any ambush, and they shoot a lot of bullets. They don't think they are not economic with the amount of bullet they use, because they have it in abundance. Let's just be honest about that. So they started shooting. Some had the bipods on. They started shooting from a distance. There was a particular one among them that could not even carry the PKM properly because it felt like the PKM was bigger than him. So they started shooting the military outposts. The Burkinabe armed forces actually returned fire in equal ferocity. Like I thought the steam actually mashed into each other. The JNIM was assaulting, the Burkinabes were assaulting. So it was a firefight. It was a back and forth. So at some point, the Burkinabe armed forces actually stopped shooting. So the JNIM advanced a little bit. So the Burkinabe armed forces released even a greater, like the firing rate was now greater this time around. The JNIM shot back. Now they started recording casualty. We have the pictures, but for the sake of this video to not be flagged, I won't drop the picture right here, right? So, but after this video must have been posted, I'm going to post the picture of the bodies. So if only the pictures get flagged, it's okay. But I'm going to post it after this video. But I just don't want anything to tamper with the video. So the Burkinabe started shooting back, and the JNIM started recording casualty. They started getting beat back. So they didn't the JNIM actually believed that with enough toughness, maybe they could be able to do it, to take the base. So the firefight continued until they recorded more than half of their forces that came for the assault got neutralized. Now, some of them started backing off, but they were within firing range, so they recorded even more casualty. So at the end of the day, the population that came, was so great compared to the troop that actually resisted. And I guess maybe 1 or 2 actually left, actually fled the scene, you know, actually fled the scene on bike. And I actually believe that if he actually fled the scene, maybe, he wasn't even involved in the firefight at all. Probably maybe the cameraman, because it was a very, very destructive, operation. Very, very destructive operation. Their guns was recovered, their bikes were recovered. 2 of the bikes were destroyed beyond repair. Like, not destroyed with RPG or something. No, it was from the bullet of the AK-47, probably. And I think there was a minor explosion. Maybe the bullet crashed into the fuel tank and everything just exploded. So it was a deterrence message to the mental of the enemy that, look, we got significant military presence. And it actually proved that numbers does not necessarily mean force sometimes. Definitely personnel are needed on both sides, but it shows that numbers is not equivalent, it's not directly proportional to military capability or combat capability or marksmanship at the end of the day. So what I noticed from this operation is, I think the Sourou region has enjoyed peace for quite a while, because the JNIM have actually taken the biggest damage in this region. And this region is not really far from Dedugu. It's only 2 hours, about 35 minutes drive from Dedugu by road. Um, so they were destroyed. Everything was recovered. Good military success by the Burkinabe armed forces. And this success actually came because the military actually got intel, they got credible intel very, very quick about the infiltration by the JNIM that actually came through the bush part, like they always do, always. So it was actually something very, very good. And you know, after which, according to the information we receive, is that the Burkinabe armed forces in that location will now go for a clear out operation, should in case there's any one of them that actually escaped with bullet wounds. So, if he escapes with bullet wound, he can't really go that far. So probably they are going to catch up on them and neutralize them. But so far, so good. The Burkinabe armed forces have actually shown that they have a very, very significant capability when it comes to fighting. And when I watched the Palma liberation by the Burkinabe Assault Brigade, the Rapid Intervention Brigade, one thing I've noticed lately is that I think the Burkinabe armed forces, they have a very, very ferocious type of mindset. I think what we see on video, what we see on the internet is actually an underestimation of the capability of the Burkinabe armed forces. Because for real, um, when I actually saw the true capability of the Burkinabe in that Palma assault, these were people that on their way to Palma, there was an explosion from an improvised device. They actually lost 9 soldiers on the spot. You could, if you go to the Burkinabe official channel, you can actually see that moment. Like boom. And those guys, they were on bikes, they were very close to the explosion. According to the guy that actually narrated the story, he said the 9 of them were thrown to about 20 meters away. And they weren't deterred. They weren't broken mentally. They forged ahead. To be honest with you, man. According to what I even heard, that the Burkinabe soldiers, they have this mindset of, yeah, it could be dangerous. The probability of me coming back might not be so high, but we gotta go. Man, look, to be honest with you, at this point, I give it up for the Burkinabe armed forces. I'm telling you the truth. And that's the difference between the Burkinabe soldiers and a lot of soldiers out there. A lot of soldiers will actually have escaped in some situation, like this is not the first time we're seeing it. But these guys, no matter the numbers, even when the explosion happened, they actually stood ready for combat. They thought it was an ambush and they were ready to fight. And when the interviewer, the journalist was actually, the wartime journalist was actually asking the soldier that what's going to happen, I said, we're going to wait. If anything happens, we're going to fight it out. Ladies and gentlemen, to be honest, man, Burkina Faso soldiers, they are different, to be honest with you. And with their military build up towards the future, it's secured. It's secured. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? You can drop your opinion in the comment section below. It's your boy 7200 signing out. Enough said. I just said I should bring this information to you to keep you updated about the success on the front line. The Sourou has actually been liberated. It's actually been a peace. But maybe the JNIM just tried this little assault team to try to test the waters and see if Sourou is really, really legit. They actually took a very, very huge loss in Sourou, losing about 70 something soldiers in one day attack. It was a ground assault. It wasn't an area bombardment of the terrorists. They actually came on the ground, and man, soldiers actually proved their point to them the last time they tried to infiltrate Sourou. This is another time they actually lost bad again. Man, Sourou is a very good place, actually. So after this now, I think the enemy is going to stay away for a long time before they try to plan another attack. But anyway, anyhow, best of luck to the Burkinabe armed forces and to all the patriotic community and to all the supporters out there that are actually giving your words of encouragement. You're giving everything you can to make sure the truth goes out there by every means necessary and by all means possible. Much salute and much respect to all of you.